Hey guys, this is Kai from Jessica Flavor, and today we're going to talk about oil infusions. Very simple technique that can help you with a lot of different cooking processes. So I posted a picture yesterday of me with it was like a large mason jar in a pot, and I was doing some oil infusions for another purpose, and people were just hitting me up like crazy, asking me, okay, what are you doing? What are you infusing? How do you do it? Why do you do it? So I was like, oh, okay. So um, let's talk about it. And it's so easy, and it's really something that you should try to do, because you're gonna actually get a lot more benefit out of your spices, out of your herbs, your fresh herbs, all that. You're gonna be able to use them in so many different ways if you learn how to do this technique. So here I have two examples. This one is a fresh infusion. These are the fresh herbs, and then here is an infusion with the spices. So they look very different because this is kind of clean. I have some sediment at the bottom of whatever didn't strain out of the spices, and this one just stays there. You shake it up when you need it, and you can pour it out and use it in many different preparations. So let's break it down. Um, so as far as the picture that I had up there, I was infusing some black seed. I've been doing those types of things for a long time. I used it on my hair. I use oil infusions in my bath products, food. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with just this one technique right here. So what I do when I want to take, let's say, my original blend, right? I love to use safflower oil when I'm cooking, because it really doesn't have a flavor, but it gives you like this little buttery note to your food that is so good. And plus, it really doesn't affect like your it helps you with your belly fat and things like that. It's such it's a good clean oil. Um, and it's really good for you to do your research. I don't like really cooking with oils that put a lot of extra flavor in the food unless I want it, like toasted sesame oil. Like you're using toasted sesame oil because you want that toasted flavor, right? But your regular everyday cooking, like I really don't want to taste it in on my chicken unless I'm making something specific to that flavor. So for everyday use, safflower oil is perfect. You really shouldn't use, olive oil in your frying pans and stuff like that. Do your research on that. It's just not healthy to increase that temperature beyond what it's supposed to be. So olive oil, I use that in cold preparations like salad dressings. I need to just do a quick saute, anything like that I really want that olive oil flavor to it, but no. Safflower oil is the one for me. So so what I do is I put my seasonings in there. You just increase the temperature of the oil just a little bit. You don't want to get it to the full heat point, and you don't want to get it to where it's boiling. You don't want that. You just want to raise the temperature. So putting it in like a double boiler, or just sitting it into some hot water, letting it boil, turn it down, cover it with a cloth, and just let it absorb. Just let it absorb. And then be patient and let it sit. Every time you look at it, whether you pass by that area in your kitchen once, twice, three times a day, every time you just kind of shake it, get the seasonings, because it kind of will settle a little bit, wake it up, and then put it back in your pantry. And in a few days, you'll have like this really rich, dark infusion of the spices. And when you open it, this one is my cayenne pepper, my red pepper. What's left of it, I know everyone is so upset because I don't have my red peppers on the website. It's just a really seasonal product, and with how the weather's been in Alabama, most of my peppers died. We will have them back. Don't worry, we're working on getting our plants and stuff handled. Don't worry about it. They'll be up. But I mean, this will last. Like, it was up to here. Like, this will last you for a long time. And it didn't take a lot of peppers to do this. So, it smells so good. So you will get the aroma from the spices. You'll get the full heat from the spices. But this is just a different way to do it. So when I, want to cook with this, like in a pan or whatever, it's going to give me that flavor. I use this also with not just my peppers, my original, my veggie flavor. I love, when I need to put a little bit of oil in the pan for like my eggs, or when I'm doing like a pan sear on fish, just to have that extra layer of flavor that you're cooking in is great. It's really, really great. And then strain it out really good so you don't get the spices actually burning when it starts to pan sear. You just get the clean flavor. And this one I still use safflower oil because you want to taste your herbs and spices. You don't want the oil to take over everything. Now, unless you're doing something where you really need that flavor of the olive oil in there, then go ahead and use it. Like sometimes pesto, you kind of like need that olive flavor, but a lot of times, I mean, you really don't. So in here is cilantro, chives, onion, and garlic. So what I do with this, in my food processor, I put the oil and I put all of the fresh ingredients and just blend it like crazy. Blend it until it's nice and like a creaminess to it. And then if you want to add more of the herbs to give it a little bit more texture, that's fine. But this is great when you want to marinate and you want to make salad dressing with this. Put it a couple of tablespoons into like a stew or something. It just helps you really break down that flavor and use it in different ways. So seasoning, there's no like real class that you should have taken, in high school. Why don't I know this stuff? A lot of people don't. You have to learn the different techniques when it comes to spices and seasoning your food. And it's like once you learn each technique, then you're like, okay, let me experiment more. Let me buy this. Let me get this. And I know what to do with it. So a lot of people are really afraid to kind of really dig into buying spices and redoing their spice cabinet, what type of oils and this, because, it is a lot. It is a lot. But if you want to get the most out of your spices, you need to really learn the different techniques. And you'll like, whoa, like, okay, so when I pull out those short ribs, which I'm doing today, I'm doing short ribs today, what am I going to do with them? I got dry spices. I don't know what the heck to do with them. You can take your oil infusion and with your dry herbs, with your loose herbs, and let the meat just pour it in there and just let it wrap it up and let it sit. And it will help to really break that meat down and just absorb into the meat. Vegetables, same way. Doing some string beans or whatever, take your oil preparation this way or take this way and just kind of do a light drizzle all over your vegetables and let that sit. So when you're ready to cook, the flavor is really in there. You don't have to add any more oil to your pan. Just kind of saute them up, add a little bit of the marble salt, a little bit of that peppercorn, yes. And then there you have it. It's simple, but I don't want to say it's simple and insult people. I just want to say it's when you know it and you realize like, oh, like I can do this, then you can cook a lot more things. So in that way, it's simple. I want you to be confident. And even with something like as spicy as this, when I bake, chicken or saute vegetables, and I just want like that kind of undertone of heat without putting the heat directly on it. And I'm like, wait, I got this little kind of like kick. Like, how do you do that? There's no hot spots. Like sometimes when you just sprinkle things on there, unless like I like a lot of heat, and I'm gonna sprinkle it on there because I like that surprise sometimes of like, oh yeah, that was a little extra bite right there. But when you just want to kind of just get you a nice undertone of flavor without being overpowering, that's where your oil infusions are gonna come in. You're just gonna put a little bit in the pan and it'll just kind of give you that little sit like, okay, this is nice, right? So that is, I think, I'm trying to make sure that I cover everything. Let me know if you try it. I'm always posting the different oils and stuff that I make. My veggie oil, I keep it everywhere. I always have it. My original, can't live without it. My peppercorn blends, let me tell you, you infuse that, you will never not infuse it. You will always have a bottle of the peppercorn blend. I can taste it now. Like it's so good. It just infuses so well. But I'm telling you, unless you want olive oil, like if you're gonna use it like straight away and you want like with some like fresh bread, you take your olive oil, infuse it with the peppercorn on point, and then put a little bit of the marble salt in there. When you want to be all fancy and you want to have your bread out and everything, handle it. That's how you do it, right? But every day, that's going to become an addiction. Sorry to say, but it will. It stays on my countertop, So those are just, other ways to use our spice blends. That's not just sprinkling it on it, because a lot of people, even when they just sprinkle things on it, they're like, well, okay, now what do I do? Like, that's it? There's so many techniques that you can use with these spices. Our blends are just here to really make the combination easy for you. Put it together like, okay, you can be so creative and do so many different things with the spices, but okay, now what? You don't have to just sprinkle it. You can infuse it. We'll discuss all, other stuff another time. We're going to stick with just the infusions right now. Just to kind of expand the life of your spices. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to hit your family with the same stuff all the time. You want to be able to do different things with them, right? So that is oil infusion. Any other questions, you guys just keep inboxing me, and I'm gonna, now that my kids are actually back in physical school, they're not going to be running through my videos and cracking open doors like, Mom, what you doing? And taking their little moment to pose. So, yeah. So I love the questions, and I try to answer as many of them live, like online, I'll type you back real quick. I'm trying to remain as hands-on with my customers as possible, because I really love and appreciate you guys so much. Um, I really do. You guys are really just holding me down and keeping me motivated every single day to just keep going. Um, and you're allowing me to encourage other people that have small businesses, that, just to keep going. It's okay. Things are gonna be crazy. Things are gonna, not look so great sometimes, but you just have to remember how much you love what you do, and remember what your end game is. That's it. What is your end game with all of this? Like, why are you doing it? Keep that, you know, that inside. You never forget that. What your end game is, why you're doing this. Because it's encouraging somebody. I can guarantee you somebody is watching, and someone is being fueled to keep going because of what you're doing. All right, so I love you guys, and remember these techniques, your oil infusions. Don't be intimidated by buying a bunch of fresh herbs, because you can, they don't have to sit in the refrigerator and spoil and rotten, because you're like, oh, I don't know what to do with all this stuff. Now you do. Now you do. And get those marinades up. Okay? Love you guys, and keep following us and keep supporting us. Thank you so much. See y'all later.